I want to speak to you about your identity from the perspective of you being the advantage of the world. You know, I listen to how some Christians pray these days, and from their prayer points, you see that they are hoping for a better Nigeria, a better nation, better legislations, better policies, and the likes. Well, I'm not a prophet of doom, but I want you to know that things may not actually get better in quotes. But whether things get better or not is not your problem as a believer. Why? Because you are the advantage. You know, one of the reasons I love the word of God is because it shows me the wisdom of God. And the wisdom of God is very practicable. Why? You can actually use the principles, stated out in the Bible and get Bible results. It has been tried over and over again by men, women, youths, and children in different dispensations, and they've all had the same testimony that the word works. And just like Pastor Chris will say, if you stick with the word, you'll come back with a testimony. Now, it's very important you understand that your success, your survival, and your flourishing as a believer does not depend on the environment. It doesn't depend on the nation. It doesn't depend on the weather or the legislations. It depends on you, who you are. What do I mean? The believer is not just at an advantage. The believer himself is the advantage. Why? Jesus said that we are the salt of the earth. Now, what is salt, or what's the use of salt? Salt gives taste. Salt preserves. So you as a believer, wherever you are, you should bring about preservation, and you should also give that place, that environment taste. You should give that environment flavor. Your fragrance as a believer should actually emanate and pervade your environment. So you are at an advantage. Now, if we look through the scriptures, it's clear. While the sons, servants, and daughters of God lived in their various dispensations, they actually brought the fragrance of God to it. What do I mean? When Paul was in the ship, the lives of those that were in the ship were actually spared. Why? Because Paul was present there. When John, when they saw that, they couldn't get Apostle John the Beloved to deny Christ, they threw him into hot oil. They saw that he was not frying, he was not burning, and they sent him to the island of Patmos. He was actually banished. But John could have chosen to sit down and begin to cry and begin to weep that, God has abandoned him and all. But no, he was in the spirit. He was in the spirit. What does it mean by he was in the spirit? He was still attuned with God. He was still acknowledging fellowship, and he was able to download the book of Revelation, which remains one of the most fantastic books for all time. What about Peter? Peter was at the beautiful gate, and just because Peter showed up, the lame walked. What about if you look at them, the testimonies abound. You look at Philip, the presence of Philip actually brought joy to an entire city. Just because a man came into town, he brought salvation and he brought joy. Peter was in town, and because Peter was in town, Dorcas lived again. Even when Paul was not available, his handkerchiefs and his aprons, got the job done, healed people, delivered people, set people free. What about Esther? Esther spoke, and the king listened, and the entire Jewish tribe was delivered from annihilation. What about Jesus? Jesus actually yielded to the Father, and humanity was given a second chance. If you look at the stories of these great patriarchs and matriarchs, none of them was comfortable, none of them was palatable. They all actually faced difficult situations, they faced challenges, but there was something they all understood. They understood that they were at an advantage, and they understood that they were the advantage. They knew that it was left for them to take authority, to take initiative for God. Because like my father would say, it's a man's world, and God does nothing in this world without including a man. So it's very important that you understand that as a son and daughter of God, you can actually give life. You can bring beauty. You can bring fragrance to your environment. You are not disadvantaged. You cannot be disadvantaged. Why? Because the Bible makes us know that all things work together for the good of them that love God and are called according to his purpose. So the question is not, is the environment good? The question is not, are situations and circumstances good? No, the question is, do I love God? If the answer is yes, the second question is, am I called according to his purpose? If you are a son or a daughter of God, the Bible makes us know that to them that he called, which are referring to us, the sons of God, he justified, he glorified. So if you are called according to the purpose of God, and if you love God, you can be sure that all of the negativity, all of the problems, all of the challenges, all of the attacks, they are all working together for your good. Now, if you look at the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, the angels told Lot and his family that they shouldn't look back, they shouldn't behold, the city that was being consumed. And Lot's wife actually disobeyed. She looked back, and what happened to her? She became a pillar of salt. But guess what? Papa Abraham, he was standing from where he was, and he was beholding that same Sodom and Gomorrah, and he didn't become a pillar of salt. Why? It was the covenant that differentiated them. Abraham had a relationship with God that Lot did not have. So like Papa Abraham, you can also look at Sodom and Gomorrah and not get burnt. Like Noah, the very same flood that is drowning all of creation, that is destroying people, is actually the same flood that will lift up your ark higher and higher. Like Elijah, when the economy is bad and everything is going wrong, and women are even eating their children to survive, ravens will bring you food to eat. And if ravens are not available, angels will bring you food to eat. Elijah actually experienced supernatural provisions. There was a time ravens got him food. There was a time an angel woke him up to eat. He ate and he went back to sleep, and the angel woke him up again and said, Oga, eat. So the journey is far. So I want you to know that you are the advantage of the world. You are the one the world is actually looking up to. You are the solution. You are the Son of God, and creation is waiting for you to manifest. You are not the disadvantaged. You can never be disadvantaged. You are forever at an advantage. Why? You are the Son of God, and you have the Spirit of God. So go out today with that mentality. Approach your work with that mentality. Approach your relationship with that mentality. Let it dawn on your consciousness that you are the solution. You are at an advantage. If the situation is disadvantaged, that's exactly why you came. You are the advantage. You are the one to bring the solution. You are the one to bring the answer. And don't forget that the Spirit of God lives and dwells in you. And if He is there, if He is living in you, and if He is relating to you, He would always give you the answer. He would always give you the solution. Thank you very much for joining in. Do have a wonderful day. God bless you. Enjoy.